power of presence. I would start by saying presence is power. Then I'll go a little further and say presence is a form of love. To intentionally be present with ourselves, present with our thoughts, present with our emotions, and present with how those thoughts and emotions show up in our bodies. Oftentimes I know what I'm thinking, but sometimes I'm not as connected to what I'm feeling because what I'm thinking can be at the forefront. And so sometimes, what really will inform me of what I'm truly feeling, what emotions are truly present, is because of the things that I'll feel in my body. Symptoms that'll come up. Oh, why do I have a headache? Or, oh, why am I feeling tension in that left shoulder? Or, what's going on with my tummy? I think I'm fine. Like, what's happening? And then upon further consideration, it'll come to me. Oh, okay. So your right knee is acting up because you've been feeling this way and that way. Okay, got it. And sometimes I'm not fully aware. So being present with myself has been challenging because my first thought is, oh my God, my little baby cousin is gone. Oh, in some ways he's like a little brother. In other ways, if I had a hand in helping to raise a child, it would be him. My auntie, she's an amazing mother. His dad's a phenomenal father. And I feel like just because of the closeness I had with him and his brother when they were children, I kind of got a chance to play a maternal part in his village. And so this one hit hard, like differently, because my first thought is, oh my God, his mom, my auntie, who's kind of like, a second mother to me. And at this point, with my mother being gone, she really is my mother. She is the mother of my heart. And I can find myself wanting to take care of my uncle, take care of my auntie, take care of his brother, my other cousin, just look after everyone. And that's still a part of me. That's always going to be a part of me. That's my long-winded way of saying it's important for us to be present with ourselves first, and then from that abundance of presence and really us building that, practicing, accustomed to being intentionally present with ourselves, the overflow design, which is what I call it. And then it becomes a lot easier to be present with other people and give them that power of that presence without abandoning ourselves. If you're anything like me, you've been raised the way I was raised. Presence is something you offer to someone else, and you put yourself on the back burner and you just run into helping however you can. And then you come back and you give yourself whatever little scraps are left over. And what I'm saying is that's not the way. Say we're giving ourselves permission to love differently. That's what Black love permissionism is about. It's starting with self, spilling out into our village, because the village needs the individual just as much as the individual needs the village. It is an interdependent model, and I'm seeing it up close and personal as I'm here with my family. A couple of days ago, I talked about the power of permission, and I think we're just taking it a little bit further. And I think when we're dealing with situations where there are huge emotions like grief, we're dealing with the death in my family right now, and grief is such a visceral experience. And, there's so many different phases that you go through, and they're not linear. They're all over the place, right? Grief is it's a wild ride, especially the closer the person is to you who you lose. It gets really intense and difficult to be present with grief. I mean, you're not running away from it. You're not trying to escape it. You're not trying to busy yourself. It comes to a point where you can't. You might try. But grief, especially when it's somebody close, a parent, a child, somebody that was really important in your formative years, it gets to a point where you cannot run from it. And anyone who might be going through something like that, like me and my family are right now, the power of presence is worth it. It is worth it. And if we can be present with ourselves, see, this is the thing. then we can start learning to move through the discomfort that comes from sitting with uncomfortable emotions and feelings. And when you stop running from it, then you can connect with the people in your village in a more intimate way. Oftentimes when we're not present, what we don't realize is we're also forfeiting our connections, our intimate connections. And most of us, especially, nowadays we have a male loneliness epidemic, and a lot of people are getting their only connections through the internet. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that per se, but it's all the more reason why it's so important for us to be present, even when it's uncomfortable. So many people are grieving. There's so many people grieving, and grieving all sorts of things. It doesn't have to necessarily be the death of a person. It doesn't have to be the death of a person. Really wanted to touch on that today, being more connected, because that is really what I think we're all looking for when it's all said and done. Nobody can avoid hard times. They're coming for all of us if they're not already here. And many of us will go through compounded difficult times. But what's really going to stand out is who was there with you when you were going through those hard times. And that's where the power of presence comes in. Who were you willing to be present with? Were you willing to be present with yourself, first of all, most importantly? And who else were you willing? Who were you receptive to being present with? Because there does have to be a certain type of receptivity when we're talking about the power of presence. And who are you generous enough to be present with? Because it does require a certain discomfort sometimes to truly be present, right? Not in the phone, not texting, not playing a game, not on the video game, not got the TV on in the background, but actually sitting and sharing a moment of presence with someone. So I ask you, how are you giving yourself permission to be completely present, first with yourself, and then with the people who matter the most to you in your village? And it could be something as simple as eating a meal. It could be something as simple as sharing a piece of fruit. It could be something as simple as just sitting with someone. You could put your hand on their back and just stand there next to them. And this doesn't have to be an hours on hours, overly planned, overly curated thing. This can simply be having a moment of presence, right? Giving yourself those moments. Sometimes I'll stop and I'll just tap my chest when I'm by myself because I feel myself. My thoughts are swirling. And I'm okay because I'm just thinking and thinking and thinking. And right over my heart, I'll take a few deep breaths and I'll just touch, just to bring me back into this physical vessel of mine, right? So this doesn't have to be some big thought out plan. Sometimes it's just in the being. And I think a lot of us get caught up in the doing. That's why we like to, we're so squirrel. We're looking for that dopamine fix. It's great. We need to do. But I think more importantly than the doing has to be the being. And so that is day 25. Please allow yourselves to ease into the power of presence, because presence is not only power, but it is a form of love. This is Goze, the Black Love Permissionist, signing